The long and short of it, written by Bobbles, Chapter 29. I suck at this. Anonymous had just lost another hand. He'd already put socks on 3 of his legs, which make this the 4th sock he'd have to put on. While he went to grab it, Pike and Cut watched him with rapt attention, and eventually began to cheer. Put it on. Put it on. Man, is this what it feels like to be desired by the opposite sex? This is great. Hopping up on the coffee table the 3 of them were playing on, he made a show of sticking his right hind hoof toward the mares, which turned their cheering into roars. He didn't try to fight down a smirk. Remember, look, but don't touch. As Enon started sliding the purple and white striped sock up his leg, the other 2 were practically frothing at the mouth. Yeah. Show me how those legs chase. Pike cried. Meanwhile Cut had started repeating some mantra under her breath. Please crush my head between your thighs, please crush my head between your thighs, please crush my head. As the sock climbed higher, the 2 only grew more heated. Cut was cutely trying and failing to hide just how much it was rilling her up, while Pike was openly salivating. As the sock reached 3/4 of the way up, Enon got a devilish idea. Cut had started repeatedly shifting her eyes away to keep herself from staring too hard, and he was not having that. So with every inch the sock gained, he scooped his leg that much closer to her with great effect. After just a few inches, she was visibly sweating and finding it harder to look away. By the time it was dangling in front of her face, she was looking at him with a desperate, pleading gaze. You may touch it. Once. Cut took a shuddering breath, clearly balking under the anticipation. Slowly lifting her 4 abs, she gingerly reached out and wrapped them around his leg. Oh gosh, she seems like she's enjoying herself, but every good stripper knows that you can't let them enjoy themselves too much. With surprising skill, he slid his hoop out from Cut's hooves without warning, and strode it on the table. She feebly reached out towards it again, but she remembered the rule and let her hooves fall. Hey! How come I don't get a touch? Cried an offended Pike. Enon paused mid-step in front of her. Oh come on, you touch this like every day. Do you really want? She cut him off by nodding her head vigorously. Well, I suppose it's only fair, exclamation mark. Before he could hope to stop her, she leapt into the air and practically wrapped herself around his leg. Hey! She wasn't done. Quick, Cut. Grab his other leg and we can have all the touches we want. Enon started to panic as she did just that. Quick, someone call the bouncer, this is getting out of hand. Pike's eagerness reached fever pitch. Drag him to the ground. Yeah. Cut eagerly agreed. Uh-oh. After nocturnal, Pike and Cut came out of their lust-induced haste to find themselves pinning Enon to the ground and nuzzling him all over. Pike was afraid that she'd ruin the plan she had for the evening. But thankfully, in typical Enon fashion, he just laughed and said, Wow, I guess this is what Princess Luna meant when she told me I would incite the castle's mares into a riotous lust. He'd been pouring shots for the 3 of them ever since. After all, he did have all 4 of his socks on now, which meant he was fully dressed, a fact he took a great deal of joy in leaving it a game of Cut versus Pike. The But Pony admittedly expected it to be an easy win for herself, but Cut seemed to know her way around a deck of cards. Pike was down to just her apron, while Cut was down to Enon's apron. He said it was okay, and her bra. And Enon was a ring. In a way, Pike had never seen a cold lair before. The naked apron is a good look on the both of you, he said. Cut bashfully hid her face behind her cards. Oh really? He grew a lecherous grin to match his eyes. I can see it now. I come home after a long day to the sight of you 2 working in the kitchen, backsides to me. Oh yeah, that'd be quite a meal alright. A visible shudder passed through the poor mare, while Pike smirked. Be careful, Enon, keep talking like that and you'll end up in the same position you were in a few hoods ago. The colt returned a grin of his own. Damn, wouldn't want to get to the point before seeing the whole show. Cut was practically vibrating at this point. Want to take a break, Cut? She looked at Pike with an as yet unspoken question in her eyes. I think I want to fold, tea twice. I couldn't agree more. Do it, she goaded. Enon piped up in apparent confusion. Huh. But you're only wearing 1 article of clothing. Cut was getting nervous now, fumbling with the apron's ties. I am wearing something else, too. Cut and Paste didn't know if she could do this. You were so eager to show him a few days ago. Why are you so nervous now? Enon cocked his head. Oh. What? Cut was trying to untie the straps of the apron, but she kept fumbling them. Well, suddenly, the Earth Pony heard Pike move behind her. Here, let me. With just a few deft motions, she'd done what Cut couldn't and the apron fell away. Go get him, she whispered in her ear. Enon, unable to see Cut's bra because of how she was sitting, was still confused. You mean your glasses? Oh, am I really about to show a cold my teats? I can't do this. What if he doesn't like them? What if? Cobb made a startled dap. As Pike, who was still behind her, grabbed the mirror and leaned her back to give Enon a perfect view of her bra. Cobb let out a panicked ah as he looked at it, confused. Wait, is that one of my bras? No, wait, my bra's on tan. Suddenly, something seemed to click within him, and he suddenly leaned in much closer. Cut, what's under the bra? She tried to verbalize it, but she couldn't seem to get the words out. TT, just do it, paste. Realizing that her voice had failed her, she simply reached behind herself and released the clasp. As she did, the bra was immediately pushed away as her teats flopped out for all to see. Cut closed her eyes as she heard both Enon and Pike sharply inhale. By the stars, they're bigger than I thought, Pike said. Oh Celestia, I can't bear to look. Cobb just had her eyes shut, waiting for Enon to say something. And waiting. And waiting. And, suddenly, she felt something wet and warm drip onto one of them. Wait, what? Cracking an eye open, Cobb spied something that seemed suspiciously drool-like that had landed on her right teat. Oh, does that meanies? Slowly looking up towards Enon, Cobb saw that he absolutely was. At some point between closing our eyes and reopening them, he'd moved so closely that he was only a scant few inches from them. His eyes were practically bulging out of his head, and he was literally drooling over her teats. What do I do? She'd never had a colt or an pony, for that matter, react like this before. All she managed to do was sit there, frozen, unable to do anything but shakily breathe in and out. Thankfully, he made a move first. Anonymous couldn't believe what he was seeing. Cut, have you had these the whole time? Cobb fidgeted in her seat. Why yes, Cut has a humongous us this whole time, and didn't tell me. And I thought the two of us were friends. Awestruck, he gingerly held his hoop towards them. May I? Cobb looked between his hoop and his face, clearly not getting the hint. May you, what? He moved his hoop just a bit closer. May I, touch them? She was staring wide-eyed at his hooves now. Well, I don't know, for Luna's Sokka, get on with it. Pike, who Enon had admittedly forgotten was still behind, Cut had clearly gotten fed up with the two of them. So much so that she physically lifted Cut up right then and there. Hoisting a confused mare above her head, Pike spun Cut around, leaving her in the perfect position for what came next. Next thing he knew, the earth pony had been tossed at him, teats first. He caught her, of course, but Pike's aim was true, and he suddenly found himself sandwiched between the floor and Cut's fact and hungry cougars. Ambigish. Suck and Bud didn't know why, but a surge of motherly pride had just filled her from head to hoof. And while she could only guess the reason why, she could still hope it was a certain daughter of hers. Way to go, Cut. Cut and Paste couldn't believe it. Pike had thrown the earth pony right on top of Enon, and his head was buried under her teats, and her face was right at his balls. But she couldn't hope to focus on those balls even if she tried though, as her mind was consumed with one simple fact. A stallion was smothered in her teats that very moment. She felt terrible, like she was treating him like some dirty porn star would, but her mom was right, having a stallion between her teats felt great. It helped that when she lifted herself up to look back at him, she could see that left Enon grinning like a drunken dope. The upstanding gentleman in her was screaming at her to get those teats off his face, but the rest of her was demanding that she stay right where she was. So there she stayed, enjoying the intimate touch of another pony for the first time. While Cut sat there and basked in the sinful pleasure, Pike walked around her and made an appraisal of Enon herself. Enon, I had always kind of wondered if you were just pulling my tail about having been a virgin. He didn't even respond, he just chuckled. But there's no way you ever got to grab some teats before if this is your reaction, giggling like a loon, he replied. Heh, boo-oba. Cut couldn't believe it. She really couldn't. The idea that she'd actually find a stallion who liked such a thing had never even occurred to her. She had to ask. Does he usually get like this? Pike sniggered. Only if I catch him off guard with a surprised face sit. He's still not really used to mare smells, so if you can surprise him, you'll knock him off his hooves. Not used to mare smells. How does that even happen? Really? Pike nodded. Yeah, he'll tell you why later. It's a pretty wild story. Wow. That's when Cut realized that Enon was completely at her mercy. I can do whatever I want, anything. Oh, what do I want to do? Pike, what should I do now? She tapped her jaw with a wing. Well, his Booalis are alone and unprotected, alright. She'd been so caught up in the euphoria of having her teats appreciated, she had completely forgotten about that. Turning her gaze forward, she saw those two perfect, emerald Arabs were indeed dominating her vision. She was mesmerized. Yeah, before Cut even knew it, Pike had squeezed in by her side. You take the right, I take the left. Cub said nothing at first, her mind thoroughly occupied. But then Pipe's words registered. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy